Greetings and welcome back to smartwatchtics.com. DT1 has cranked out yet another smartwatch. This is the DT5. Now, it's not the DT5 Sport AMOLED screen watch. It's not the DT5 Mate, which is another version. This is the pure DT5, and it brings to us 4 gigabytes of storage inside for holding music and videos and whatnot, and linkability to TWS earphones, as well as sound coming right out of the watch. You got local music, remote music, videos, and a recorder in there. Photo albums is supported, and there's a fancy 3D display. Same thing on this side. So let's crack into it, and we'll tell you where you can get it. The box has a manual, a charging dock with 4 pins so you can transfer data to and from a computer, the actual module itself, and 2 sets of bands. This is a nice leather brown looking one, and then this is the rubberized one, and I understand there's a metal band as well. You can pick this up directly from the DT1 store. This is their listing. In fact, this is their Black Friday listing. Hi, everybody. You're looking at this during the holiday time. And an insane price of $37 with free earphones, free metal bands, free case. I mean, wow. This is the time to buy. Check the show notes for the link over there to pick this puppy up. If you're missing the overall big sale, still check for a coupon discount for you, okay? Now, I don't have the spec sheets on this one. It's not up on the website yet, so I'll just try to tell you what I remember from reading things. It's a 1.5-inch screen on this one. It's not AMOLED. So it has the always-on pseudo display. And pseudo, I mean, it's got the settings for doing always on, as you'll see when we turn it on, but it doesn't really stay on always. It stays on for a little while. I'm going to put it together and we'll boot it up so you can hear the startup sound. In the meantime, the manual starts with Chinese and then moves to English. The downloadable app is, of course, the WearPro app. That's their stock app that they're using all the time now. We've looked at that many, many times. There's your main sports functions, some more information, how to do a firmware upgrade if one is pushed to you. It's all in a text version in this particular small manual, so not a lot of pictures to support it, which is why it's a good idea to watch a watch review, isn't it? That way you get to see what it looks like. Sorry everything's turning out blue. It's late in the afternoon in the studio where we use ambient lighting, and the phone tends to change the golden light of the sun into a nice, beautiful little turquoise blue. But at least you should be able to read all of the information in here. And that is the manual. And again, there's multiple languages in here. And it's the same manual across the board. Okay, here it is. So this version has 2 buttons on it, a round one above and a little pill button type down below. We're going to push that lower button, give it a moment, and it'll start booting up. And that's the startup sound. Give you an idea of what the speaker sounds like. Wow, okay, it's looking for pairing, and it just did. And here's one of their fancy opening watch faces. We got a little thin film on the front. It's not a screen protector, so it's okay to peel that one off. It's got the little handle so that you can do that. On the back side, it's all sealed up. You've got the 4 spots, and I think you can see there's a little hole in the plastic to align it. And in this case, it's not really aligned properly. So you might check when you try to charge it to make sure all of the pins are making contact. If they're not, that could be because that plastic is a little off. I'm not going to try to peel this whole thing off, but I think it's just a plastic overlay on here, and it's supposed to stay there. Your diodes are in the middle and so forth. We've got a microphone hole over here, and we've got speakers over here for the sound, which you'll hear in a minute. And I have the always on screen that didn't stay always on. And it's also got the twist your wrist to see the time. And this is the main watch face. When it times out, it goes into this watch face, and when it times out, it goes black. So in a sense, you've got two levels of display, and if you're wearing it, you know, on always on mode, when you twist it just a little bit, you see it'll quickly switch to that other mode. We'll see that when we get deep into all of the parts of it. So this button toggles you between the watch face and your apps, and this button toggles you between the always on screen or off if you don't have that activated, and back to the standard watch face. Swiping down gets you into all of your controls. Here's where you can activate for music to come with the pairing from the phone, so your phone music will play through here, or, and I set it up for local music, you can play the music that they already shipped inside of here, or your own if you add to it. And you also have headphone mode, so it will pair to a Bluetooth headphone set, and you can play your music directly from there. 3D is this rotating user interface. You saw how it was twirling around, but you can make it in a 3D rotation or whatever you'd like. Overall information is called Smartwatch when you go to pair it. You've got your volume control here in these updated settings. This is the vibration levels. 0 means none, and it's a light vibration and so forth. This is where you can set your screen off time. Once it's on, how long will it stay on before it times out on its own? This is the QR code you use to scan to pair the device. This is your overall brightness. This is the lowest level now. There's a 1, 2, and a 3 level. 4 is the absolute brightest, which is what we had it on, and now we're down to dim. I'm going to do the review on about a 2 level. I think that'll give you the best color combination. Overall settings here, we'll get into that in a minute. Here's your power savings mode if you want to activate that, and your do not disturb mode. The two modes are similar but different. It'll tell you in here what will be silenced and changed when you invoke either of those modes. And then that's your twist your wrist or raise your wrist to see the time. If you have that off, then it won't light up when you twist it, and it will if you turn it on. Your power level, date and time, and the Bluetooth connection, and these other kind of dimmed ones are showing you connection for phone calls and connections for earbuds. So lots of different ways of doing your Bluetooth connectivity with this one, and that you get to from swiping down. Swiping up, if there's notifications you've set up in the app on the phone to send to the watch, they'll appear here. You can read them and the whole works. When you swipe to the left, to the right, you're going in a big circle through a bunch of different screens. This one is your step count, calories burned, and distance traveled for the day against the goal that you set up in the app. This one is measuring your heart rate with the green diodes in the back. Give it a while, it'll give you a heart rate reading, slide up, and you see your continuous heart rate for the day. Now, I only started it this morning, so I just have a few, but it shows you your maximum and minimum on here as well. Come over one more, now it's going to start measuring blood oxygen. The advanced watches use red diodes for that. This one sticks with the green, so I would not rely on the values for high accuracy on any of these. On any of the watches, just make sure you check them against calibrated readings. Showing 96% or so. Slide up and you can see the readings per hour on a scale of 0 to 100, so you cannot tell anything between 96 and 100. It should be, I think, from 90 to 100 perhaps. Then you'd have some more idea of what's going on. We timed out. We've gone into the quasi-always on or secondary display, and now that is timed out, and we are in the black display. Does not support the double tap mode with these watches. Does not support the cover your hand on the screen to shut the display off. But we did, by doing that, go into the a display that lets you rotate around all of those cards that you just saw. We did that one and that one and that one and that one. And we can come back over to here. This is last night's sleep time total and hours broken up into, I guess, light and deep sleep, but nothing more is shown there. And then the music player, of which I've got some music set up, and we can tap the button and you can hear it coming right out of the watch, right here. And we can change songs. A very nice, clear, crisp. They've done a great job on integrating speakers into all of these DT1 watches, so they all sound pretty much the same. Bluetooth calling works great. And that is the last of the items that you've got when you rotate around. Now you can delete some of these if you want to, simply by touching and holding and deleting it. And if you want to add other ones, you can put them in by now touching on the little plus sign that appears. So if you wanted to do your Google thing or Siri thing, you could do that. There's weather, a few more different things that you can put in here, your phone calling, the breath exercises. So these are different modules, they call them. I can put this in and click to speak. Hello, click to speak. We have to have the Bluetooth connected, and then you could just interrogate Google like you would from your phone. Hear the answer come back out of the speaker here. And now that's replaced the last thing that we had in there for sleep time, and it's put it after the music. So you can actually change the orders by putting each of these things in at the time that you want them to be in here. DT1 does a great job. Now remember this one here, right? Of adding watch faces to these watches. Because they have 4 gigabytes worth of space in here for storage of music and whatnot, they've also gone ahead and set a portion of that aside so that you can have active creative watch faces, downloadable faces, stock faces, just a ton of different faces. We showed you these faces on other watches, so they're using the same portfolio of basic faces for each of these watches, including this one. And yeah, you can just click on them and switch through them. You also, if we get here a little bit further on, have a place where it says add watch faces. And all of these are stock, guys. Stock faces in here. Beautiful. Really nice. Wow. These are just the thumbnails, of course. You bring them up into the full screen, and you get all the vibrancy of the colors and everything that goes with it. Some more butterfly ones. Wow, look at all of this. And I'm still not up to the section where you can add faces. Okay, I know not all of you are into faces, but some of you are. There you go, more watch faces. Tap that, and now I'm in the dial market, and I have all these categories, and I could go into any category, and then I could pick out from there a watch face that I'd like to add. I download it, and now it's instantly there, together with all the other faces that we've been looking at. And still, we're finally back to that one. Wow. Okay, so very nicely done for watch faces. I wish the other companies would do that. I'm really tired of being able to have access to hundreds, they say, but you can only install one, right, at a time, and then you have to change it from the app. Well, not this one. DT1, if you're into faces, is a great watch that you can get a bunch of different faces in here. This one is integrated with your circles as you close them, plus all these other things around the side. So test each of them out so you can see what they do, and yeah, have fun with them. Yeah, great. Okay, so we've gone down and we've gone up and we've gone all the way around, both left and right. Where are we now? This is off. When you press and hold it, this is going to give you the option to shut down. Gosh, I guess it has to be in the watch face. Then you press it, and shut down, restart, reset the watch are all listed under the system menu accessible from here. And this one gets you into your app drawer. And these are all of the apps. But before we go there, one thing we didn't cover was the settings. In display now, this is where you've got the clock style and where we changed all the different watch faces. Let's grab another one. That's a fun one, animated-ish. Wow, look at that. Now, this is not an AMOLED screen, but it's definitely high definition and very clear quality. Come back over. We've got in display the idle clock, which is this one. You notice it's digital. You've got No will be the absence of having this quasi always on screen display. Then you've got different digital ones that'll look like these with all the vibrant colors that show up. And you've got a bunch of pointer or analog ones as well. Some black and white, some colorful. Okay, got 3 of those. Let's land on that one. Says it's going to use up more battery power, but that's your what they call idle clock. Screen off time we looked at, and you can set your overall wallpapers for your apps. Let's go to a default watch wallpaper, and you've got this now here in the background when you switch over to the apps. And that was in display, the listing of all of the possibilities. So after that, then you've got your call reminder information, vibration and ring capability, the different music modes that you have, and we showed you those already. Their user interface effects, and we've been changing through those. Here's page. You see it looked like it flipped a page. By the way, I think you can change all of those things by double tapping here. Not sure. Anyway, whoops. Yeah, see it's in the page mode. Let's not get lost. We are still in here doing the UE effect. You can set the time. Of course, it'll pick up the time when you pair it to your phone. Vibration, brightness level, all of that we've looked at. The view mode now. These are the different ways of displaying these apps. We're in a list mode now, and you have all these other ways. There's that cube turntable that we were looking at, which is kind of fun. You can set the languages, do not disturb, and of course your power saving on and off. Those were all buttons that we could press on the top. You can set a password up because you do have NFC capability in this watch, so unlock doors and things like that. And you want to have a password control probably on that. You can switch video now. These are the boot up and the shutdown sounds and I think the actual video itself too. So you can save time and also keep it quiet. Now USB mode, you can either recharge when you plug it in or change to mass storage where you transfer data back and forth. I'm whipping through these because these are the same as we've seen on all of the other most recent watches from DT1. The storage space, which they try to push off as being in gigabits, which is 8 times larger than gigabytes. But really you have 4 gigabytes, so whatever they're showing in gigabits, divide it by 8, and that's what you've got. This is all the stock stuff that they've put in here, and it's taking up a little bit of space, but you have a whole lot more available to add your own stuff. And then finally, the system menu is all in here. What I'm not seeing is any of the video stuff in here at this point for controlling video. Let's look here in the apps and see if it comes up. There's your different sport modes. There's no GPS in this watch, but you can pair it with the phone and do these different runs and activities and tie in, I think, with your trajectory through GPS in your phone. Heart rate, dial pad for your phone calls. There's the active circles and sleep time and weather in your area, and that's all. No forecast. Blood oxygen now, we looked at that. There's no blood pressure in this one. There's no stress measurement in this one. The music player we already tested. There's the breath exercises. This, what they call AI voice, and they claim it's Chat GPT, but I think it's pretty much just Siri or Google that'll tie in with your phone. Sport history, if you've done any activities, the history will be there, and of course it'll be transferred over to the phone. Your phone information, messages, you've got a basic calculator built into this one. A voice recorder in here, and this is what the voice recorder sounds like with Mr. Tick's booming voice. I can stop it, I can come back here, and I can play it for you.
And this is what the voice recorder sounds like with Mr. Tick's booming voice.
Nice, that's pretty good. A little bit tinny, but it works for a watch. Few different games in here. All of these are available for you. And you got alarm clock, you got a stopwatch, which actually runs in the background. You've got countdown timers that you can set. There's the proof that the stopwatch is still running. You've got a flashlight, a bright, nice screen flashlight. I wish we could program that like into the bottom button so it doesn't just turn the screen off, but you can't. Apparently, you have to come all the way in here and scroll the flashlight, and by that time you've probably unlocked your car already. We do have a compass in this one. Now, of course, we got to do the twirling around to get it to calibrate and come up. I'm sitting in the north, and it's pretty much showing correctly right there. Now, I've pointed out in other videos, I've got all these smart rings on. By the way, if you haven't seen the reviews of these, they're awesome, but some of them can affect a compass. So typically, to demo this, I really need to stretch it out and let it do its movement without my hands close by. And it snaps really good, really fast, and it looks pretty darn accurate as well. There's no other display that goes to from there. There's Find Your Phone, remote camera control, the overall settings and photos. And here's video now. They do have video. They have a couple of videos in here, the same ones we've seen before. And yeah, they just have them stock installed. Now the volume is so loud, it's actually almost sounds like it's distorting, but of course you can control that and tune it down if you want to as well. So that's the video aspect of it. And those are all of the apps that come along with it. So very similar to the DT Watch X, Watch 10, yeah, the other ones we've looked at, but in a bit of a smaller size with a 1.5-inch screen and a different kind of a case design with the numbers around the edge. Now let's take a look at the app. This is inside the Google Play Store now, and that's what the icon looks like. You're searching under WearPro. When you find it, you download it, you install it, and then you open it. Now, when you actually fire it up for the first time each day, you get an ad, a big ad. In fact, you got to know that the way to navigate to the actual app is in the tiny little strip at the top. Yeah, I know. Not really happy about all of the ads that pop up in this, but it's part of what we get in order to get to our data. When this is all connected, you'll see it kind of flashing around and it goes green with a check mark. Then you're paired to your phone with your watch. Here's the activity of the day, steps, miles, and calories burned, and broken down by hour is in here with a total distance, day, week, month, and year, and you can change dates as well. Scroll down here, now you get into all kinds of other things. Some more ads are in here. And your exercise records, if you have any, are on that little tab. And then you've got more ads and things. And then you've got your actual sleep time. There's the breakdown in the chart showing awake and REM and light and deep. Doesn't seem to match up right. I don't really have dreams all night long. Usually light is the most prevalent, deep occasionally at the very beginning. So I'm not too sure how accurate the sleep information is, but it's giving me an excellent score and showing the pie chart breakdown and how much time was spent in each category. So yeah, heavy on the deep, heavy on the REM it looked like. Shallow is typically the most, so those would probably be flipped. In most other apps that I've seen that are doing the sleep information. This is nice. You can see the actual time range and what zone you were in and how many minutes were there. Again, the same breakdown across the top. You've got your heart rate. This is the continuous heart rate and incremental heart rates that are in here, minimum and maximum. You can turn that whole feature on and off and schedule it if you want to right here. And the different resting heart rate ratings and zones and information about age and all the different support stuff. Blood oxygen, discrete measurements when you take them will show up in here. And your range and some more information about blood oxygen is there. And then ladies, if you're signed in as a female, which I've set this up for, you can put in your basic information and find where you are in your overall cycle. And that's good information. You can edit the cards, change them around, delete some of them if you want to, and that's in health. Exercise now. This is wild. You got a 21-day fitness plan you can go into. You can develop habits. They have really, really beefed this up to be more of an actual fitness app, independent of even having a watch. So you can play with all of this stuff in this area called course. Then in exercise, this is where you can actually pair in and do your exercises and see your exercise history. Discover is where you can do these different things as well. The 7-day plan, sleep aid, breathing. Yeah. Don't know what all is ads in here and what all is free, but it's something you can explore. So you might try downloading the app just as is and see if you can get into it without having a device paired to it and check all that stuff out. It's free in the App Store and the Google Play Store. Here's your device. You can unpair it from here. It shows it's connected, sync data, the device status. You can set all these things up. Here's your different watch faces and the shop that you can either download free ones or purchase some if you want to. Each of the categories has more. Not too many in the business one. Here's unique. All right, they just got a few here. Most of them maybe are already installed. Practical, mechanical, cartoon. And then, yeah, theme. We're just out of Halloween, so that's what's currently here for a fee. And I imagine Christmas is going to be coming up next. Incoming calls, SMS, you can set all of these parts up in the app for your watch. You can transfer images, your pictures in here, make watch faces from your pictures. You can do your contacts, alarm clocks. There's Bluetooth calling from your watch, and there's the NFC, business cards or email addresses you can set up to exchange with people if you want to. Twist your wrist to see the time. Heart rate, this is where you can structure it for continuous, and the frequency, how often you want it to take. The more frequent, the more it's going to use up your battery. And then an overall firmware update, and then your ID and your information, your personal information, what you've set up. Like I said, I try to set it up as a female in here to make sure that it triggers for period tracking. And you can sign out or log out or whatever you'd like to do on here. And that's pretty much the app. It continues evolving, both in terms of where they can figure out to give you more ads, where they can figure out to give you more information and things that you can do, and hopefully when they figure out how to give you more features here as well. So there you have it, the DT5 in all of its glory, and very, very similar to many of the other DT Watch creations this past year, 2024. This one's got a nice design to it, an inexpensive price, memory for storing songs and videos and watch faces, and a whole lot more. If you're interested in this one, you can pick it directly up from the DTNo.1 store. Got a link in the show notes for you. If anybody else is carrying it, I'll also add them there. And of course, through the holidays, check back on all of my reviews for potential coupons and discounts through Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and all the way through Christmas even. Thanks for watching. You have a nice holiday season, and we'll see you again soon.